Hi team, how are you? Welcome back. Okay, so today we'll discuss about the list of libraries which are available on AS400 and what are the default libraries and default source physical files and what is meant by an library and the source physical files on Windows format, how it looked like. Okay, see, whenever you create any object on AS400, it will be there in your library. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, like on AS400 we'll be working with an objects. Okay, to create an object we require a source. Okay, most of the object requires a source code to create an object. Only a couple of object which doesn't require any source, so it's a source independent. There are a couple of objects can be created, so that is an separate scenario. Okay, as of now we need to understand on AS400 everything is an object. We'll be working with an object. Okay, all the objects resides in a particular library. Okay, now so if we compare this library with our Windows format, means a library is nothing but a drive on your computers. Okay, so drive means C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, so whatever the name you call it, those are all treated as an drives. On AS400 side, that is an library. So whenever you save any file, that file will be stored in a particular drive, whether it is C drive. If you install a new software, then it will be loaded under your C drive as a default location. And if you want to copy some files and if you want to place your personal files, then it can be there under your C drive or else any D drive, E drive, anything. So whatever the file that you want to store, whatever the type of file that you want to store on your laptop, that should be under a particular drive. And the same way, whatever the objects that you create, and it can be a physical file object, logical file object, display file object, printer file object, DDM file object, so it has to be reside under a particular library. Okay, and coming to the source physical file, as I said earlier, the source physical file will contain the source code of an object. Okay, on a Windows format, these source physical files are called as folders. Okay, so my pictures, my documents, my music, these are all the default folders which are available on your laptop as and when your operating system is installed. So these are the default folders which will be exist on every of your PC and laptops, whatever it is. And the source member is nothing but a file or document or image, etc, etc. Okay, so that is called as an source member, and the source type is nothing but an extension of your file. It can be a .mpg or .txt, .xls, .csv. So different types of extensions falls under the source type or attribute. We can call the value, the title as source type, or else an attribute, or else a member type. Okay, all these three are same. Okay, library is a drive, source physical file is a folder, source member is a file, source type is an extension of your file. Okay, let's say you have copied a movie to your laptop. In that case, since it's a movie video, it might be an MPG or wave files as an audio. I think AVI is kind of one of the extension for video files. So that is called as an extension, and the name of the file that you have given is some video 1. That will be your title, but the file we call it as a source member, and that resides under a particular drive, D drive or E drive or F drive, anything. Usually we will not keep all this kind of files in a C drive, because C drive we mainly use it for an software's purpose. Okay, and yeah, that's it. So that's all about AS400 formats comparing to the Windows format. Okay, now if we talk about the default libraries which is available on AS400 is in generally QSYS, Qtemp, QGPL. QSYS is a system library, Qtemp it's a temporary library, QGPL general purpose library. Okay, see, default libraries means, as we discussed earlier, like library is nothing but a drive on computer. Whenever you install any operating system, the default drive, even if you haven't partitioned anything, so the complete storage will be used by an C drive by default if you haven't partitioned. If you partition some space, then it falls under different drive names that you have given. Okay, unless until that point the default drive will be your C drive. Okay, but on AS400 side we have more than one default library. Okay, not like a C drive. C drive is the only one drive which will be automatically created, but these are all the libraries which will be automatically created as and when you get the server. Okay, and the QSYS library contains all the system libraries, system related objects. Okay, and we don't have an access to modify those objects or delete those objects, because those are all should be exist, then only we can able to perform some action on your server. Okay, if something got corrected on QSYS, then the related functionality will not work if you do any mistake. So that is why those commands are all highly restricted. You can't even see the source code of an particular command that you are getting executed, or else a program logic, nothing. So you can't find anything from QSYS library. Okay, so that is protected. So it's a system defined library by default which will contain everything. Qtemp library is a temporary purpose library, and see, when we do any manipulations on your Windows system, if you want to store something, we can take a snapshot also. We can capture using a screen capturing process, or else using a snipping tool also we can able to capture it if you want to hold some values. Usually we save those files. If we save those files, then it will occupy some size, and it will be there for a longer time unless until you delete those files from your drive. Okay, if you maintain those kind of objects in your snipping tool or any other locations that will be there till the session is got sign off. Okay, it means it the scope of those objects is just only for the temporary purpose. So once you sign off from the session, whatever the objects that you have created in Qtemp library, that will be deleted. In a simple term, the lifespan of an object which is exist in Qtemp is a job level. Okay, so don't get confused. This job related terms and points will come later, but interview point of view, I should say Qtemp is a library which will hold the objects on a temporary basis. So once the session got sign off or once the job got completed, the objects from this Qtemp library will be vanished, will be deleted. It's not a permanent storage. QSYS is a system defined objects library where we can able to use those programs or commands from that library, but we don't have an authority to modify the object source code or anything from QSYS library. And QGPL library is a general purpose library. Generally in a companies, a same server can be used by multiple employees. Okay, so if you think that this object is required across multiple people on a single server, then you can create those type of objects under this QGPL library. Okay, so it's a common library for every programmer, every user on this server. If you store any object in QGPL, it means those objects are accessible throughout the server. Means for any user, the objects which is there in QGPL can be accessible. Okay, unless until if you specify a particular restriction on it, by default the objects in QGPL will be accessible by all the programmers. Okay, so that is about the libraries. And the source physical file, see, as I said, my documents, my pictures, my music, these are all the default source physical files. Means default folders will get created when your operating system was installed on your PC. Okay, so like that on an AS400 server also, whenever it's configured, server configuration was done, so the default source physical files are qdd ssrc. Okay, here it is, qdd ssrc. Since this object starts with Q, it's a system defined objects. So even here if you see QSYS, Qtemp, QGPL, this is a system defined object, but it's a library type of object. But these are all also called as an object, but this is a source physical file object. Okay, this is library object and these are all the source physical file objects. Okay, and the naming convention of the system defined objects is starts with Q. Okay, that's a naming convention for system defined objects. And DDS means it's a file DDS. Okay, and SRC stands for source. Okay, system defined object it is, and which will contains the DDS of a particular object source. That object source can be anything, whether it can be a program object source, command object source, display file object source, printer file object source, physical file, logical file object source. It can be anything. Okay, and always SRC is a shortcut for a source. Okay, so in general, if you want to say hi, how are you means, we just type hi as a 2 character and HRW or HRU. That's a shortcut for how are you. Okay, so we are becoming very lazy to type a small word how are you. Okay, we are just mentioning as a shortcut way, but now that helps a lot. Okay, why? Because if you know those kind of shortcuts, then it will be easy to understand on AS400 side how the command naming convention looks like. Okay, by looking at this object, we can able to understand Q is a system defined object that we are trying to mention here, and the CL stands for control language and the source. So CL is nothing but a control language programming. Okay, that is not a database. Starting from CL, it's a program based language. We're going to write some particular logics. Okay, RPG for report program generator and SRC stands for source. QRPG SRC is a source physical file object which is used to store a report program generator source code. Okay, QRPG is a system defined source physical file object which will contain the list of report program generator and integrated language environment. Okay, RPGLE. Same way with SQL and COBOL. Okay, so these are all the standard naming conventions for a source physical file. Okay, now, and the usage of the source physical file is mentioned in the description column. So that's a usage or abbreviation to it. Okay, so that's it for today, but don't forget to subscribe my channel so that you will get notified as and when I uploaded a new video. Okay, and yeah, so if you're having any questions or anything, let me know, and we will get connected to resolve this issue. Okay, and if you have any comments to share, let me know, and mention your valuable feedback or comments below to this video, and that's it. If you're feeling a bit comfortable in learning this language, that is really good, because we'll have a lot of opportunities in the market, so we can get the opportunity soon. So that is possible only if you learn the subject bit quickly. Okay, so since this is a competition market, always we need to be 2-3 steps forward, so that we will be in a queue on a first order. So as and when there is any opportunity, that we can grab the opportunities. Okay, if we are there in a list in the first position, it's better to learn as many number of concepts that you are that you want to. Okay, that's why we can able to grow. Okay, so that's it. I'm feeling a bit sleepy. See, my voice is a bit slow, but just try to what to say, habituate my voice, and even I will try to speak bit louder. And recently I changed my mic also, because earlier videos when I played my recordings it's very low voice, so that's why I just changed my mic. So hopefully you can hear my voice but clearly compared to my earlier sessions. Okay, hope you enjoyed my or see some valuable value addition to this videos. Okay, thank you, have a nice day, bye.